probably in the playroom with his friends,
remarked Lou, in a disinterested voice.
What do you mean, his friends?
By this time Jenny was close to panicking. Has imaginary friends, replied Harry, as though this was a normal thing. Jenny rushed up the wide oak staircase. She stopped outside the playroom door. Was that children's laughter she heard? Then Jake was responding.
There aren't any other children here. What is happening?
She slipped into the room and listened. Nothing. She quietly asked Jake who he had been talking to.
My friend Charles. Mom, can he have tea with us tonight?
She hated that word, but supposed the children were going to copy their friends.
Of course, darling. What would he like to eat?
She felt like a fool, but Jake didn't seem to notice.
Same as us.
Downstairs in the big kitchen, she laid out knives and forks and glasses. Jake quickly reminded her that Charles was joining them, and she hadn't laid a place for him. She quietly did as she was told. Now, I am going mad, she thought, laying a place for a ghost. There she'd said it. A ghost.
Mommy, Charles likes the playroom. Daddy says it used to be his playroom, but some bad men came and knocked down a lot of things. Bad men stayed in his playroom and he wasn't allowed to go in there. It made him very unhappy. He's happy now because he likes being in there.
Does he, darling? Tell him I am so pleased. Oh God. Now I am talking to Myson's imaginary friend. I must be going mad.
She had planned to do some more work in the dining room that evening, but couldn't bear to work in there when it was dark outside. Instead she gave the children baths, read them a story, and tucked them into their own beds. Night, night, she called out as she headed downstairs again. At the bottom of the stairs, she shied away from the dining room door. There were shadows everywhere, dark corners that made her decide they needed better lighting. I must ask Rob to get an electrician here as soon as possible. For now she went round and turned on every light she could find. Blow the electricity bills, she told herself. Was she scared? Yes, she told herself. What is there about this house? It's only bricks and mortar. Later in bed, Rob said,
By the way, Jen, I don't think I told you, but when we were clearing the growth on the outside, we found what looked like bricked-up church windows.
They were arched, and not like anything else in the house. Anything is possible in this horrible house, you thought. Next morning, as if to confirm, she'd gone into the dining room and found the fire irons laid out in the shape of a cross, facing east. She snatched them up and put them back by the fire hearth.
Rob, where are you?
I'm here.
He called back.
Rob, you know the very old wooden cross we found lying amongst the rubbish in the dining room. What did we do with it? We didn't throw it out, did we?
No, it's somewhere out in one of the stables. I'll look for it this weekend.
No, go and find it now.
Her voice sounded a little hysterical.
Be reasonable, Jen. I'm off to cut the grass. I'll get it later.
Now, please.
She almost begged, while he left to do as asked. Jenny found 2 tall candlesticks, the kind you see in churches. She placed them on either side of the hearth. I'll move the mirror from above the fireplace and hang the cross there. The altar must have been about here, she said out loud. I wonder when they built the fireplace. It was obviously had been installed much later, and the walls surrounding it. She dashed round to the outside wall, and found, as Rob said, the arched shape of the windows. I'll tell Rob to get the builders in as soon as possible to remove the stones and open up the spaces. They would have been either side of where the altar must have been, she decided. If I restore the old chapel, perhaps the ghosts might leave us alone. After that, things calmed down, and she was allowed to work on the dining room in peace.
It's all okay.
She told Rob. That was until they uncovered the prized hole. Then things got really nasty. Some weeks later, Rob was heading down the wide oak staircase.
I wasn't in the attic.
Yes, you were. I saw you coming down the stairs leading from it.
Jenny looked at him, looked straight into his eyes.
Believe me, Rob, I haven't been upstairs all morning. Perhaps you are catching the farmhouse fever.
No, I'm not. You were wearing that long old housecoat you used to live in before Jake was born.
But I threw that out years ago, before we moved in here.
Rob looked confused, but just let it go. The following weekend, they decided to take down the old velvet curtain hanging on the wall near the spare room. It was very old and tired, and faded in places where the sun had shone through the landing windows. There was nothing behind it, just a bricked up and then plastered wall. That's strange, they both thought. Why would anyone would hang a curtain there? That was until they saw the faint marks of what had been a doorway. There is something behind there,
I'm sure.
said Rob.
I'm going to get my sledgehammer and have a go at it.
No, please leave it, Rob. I'm getting horrible vibes.